So how to hollowfy the ego. Just to kind of make this video, how to hollowfy the ego, there really is no kind of uh, easy way to really go about doing that. You know what I mean? Even the easiest way, it takes a lot of time to actually do that. And the reason why it is I'm saying that in the first place, right? The reason why I'm saying that in the first place is because in like Bleach, right? Any anime watchers out there, right? The hollows were actually like what most people would consider hostile spirits, basically. Yeah, basically. And the Shinigami were the ones that were hostile spirits too, or like angels, basically trying to fight against those hostile spirits or those entities, those darker entities, right, that are hollows. But only few Shinigamis actually possess both Shinigami and hollow powers, right? And in the Bleach universe, in that anime, they call it Hollowification, right? Hollowification, where you actually, the spirit actually has a hole in their chest, and it's going, and you can see straight through it, right, in their chest. And in order for you, we as people actually go through that type of situation too, whether it is that you know it or not. Because when it comes to people, right, the clip off, this is why it is I tell y'all to go get the tree, go get the, not the tree, go get the book Clip-Orthic Magic for the Brave, because in the book it's basically about teaching you how to hollowfy the ego in essence. And even in the anime of Bleach, there's 3 forms of hollowification. You have I should say 3 to 4. You have the regular hollows, which are basically stupid and big, and they don't really have conscious of themselves, right? Kind of like people, a lot of them. And then you have ones who finally develop the animalistic instincts, where they develop their intuition or their instincts enough to be able to maneuver and survive adequately, right? You understand what I'm saying? It sounds like people also. And then you have the ones that are the Car, which are like people who now develop some form of consciousness, right? Or the hollows that have developed some form of consciousness, some real level consciousness, to not just think how to survive, but how to thrive. And then you have the Vasto Lorde. Yeah, that's the 4th one. The Vasto Lorde are the hollows that are very much so the top of the hollow hierarchy, right? Of, like, I guess you could make that analogous or make that analogy towards people, right? So in order for you to hollowfy the ego, one must go through, from what I understand, 2 main ways, I should say, 2 main ways. One of the main ways is to essentially be as of service to other people. This is what it is that most people will consider being a light magician, or to go through it the fast way and to go through trauma, and you end up hollowfying the ego very fast. It may take just as much time as it may take a person who is a light magician, years, potentially a lifetime. A dark magician, or a person that has gone through the clip off, engaged in the energy, gone through trauma, dealt from the with the personal issues, learned their lessons, don't take things so personally. Those people actually catch up, and they actually have a head start in life, because you, depending on the situation, you can get it over with hollowfying the ego between anywhere between 9 to about 36 months, which is 3 years. It's 36 months. 3 times 12. 12 months in a year. So with that being said, right, the benefits that come along with hollowfying the ego are infinite. Number one, The things that most people try to goad you with, you see straight through it, and you don't follow suit, nor do you fall prey to when people try to get you based upon them trying to latch onto you or any of that crap. That's number one. Number two, not only is it that you become very hard to bait, goad, humiliate. People will try to humiliate you, and your ego will be so shrunken to the point where you'll actually have the ability to manage said ego, and you won't care about if a person is trying to humiliate you. Again, more goading, so that you can start to become more like them. You can fashion yourself to be more like them. The third benefit is that it affords you protection, because of the fact that you're not engaging in any of the things that other people are doing, or I should say most of the things that people are doing. People end up having a profound level of respect and low-key admiration for you, due to the fact that a lot of you who have learned to hollowfy the ego, you're not doing the things that other people, for the most part, are really doing. You're doing what it is that you want to do. So because of the fact that you're doing what you want to do, people can't really be mad at you doing the things that you want to do, especially if you're not doing anything like against the law or any of that crap. People can't really have too much to really say. A lot of the things that people allow themselves to get caught up in when it comes to insults and all that type of stuff, it really is stupid to get themselves caught up in that. You know, I used the example earlier today, right? Talking about Conor McGregor versus Jose Aldo, when they actually fought, or before they fought, actually. The fight was on before they even physically fought, because Conor McGregor was talking about Jose Aldo, this, that, and the third, and all this other type of stuff. And Jose Aldo really took it personally. But if Jose Aldo would have hollowfied the ego, he would have saw, I don't know if he would have won the fight, because his skills wasn't necessarily able to match Conor McGregor. But the point that I'm trying to make here is, it wouldn't have necessarily been so easy. Maybe it would have, but it wouldn't have been so easy. He would not have been so stressed when he actually entered into the octagon cage. Because the things that Conor McGregor was saying, it is meant to prey on a person's ego. This type of jokes and antics that people play only works if you have that big of an ego, to the point where it seems like anything that anyone says ticks you off. So it affords you protection, because you'll be able to see the bigger picture for what it is. And that can essentially save your life. You don't want to be in a situation where somebody tells you to come outside and they say something that gets you angry, which is obviously a trap. And you walk outside thinking, well, forget about this. I'm going to go ahead and confront this person. This person, you can't expect this person to be playing fair with you and want to go head up with you, head to head with you. Come on now. So it affords you that ability to understand all of these things. You're able to look at the bigger picture. It affords you to not take things. So another thing is that it, which is the fourth reason, it affords you to not take things so personally, yo. Like, a lot of people have huge egos because they take a lot of things personally. You know, even when it comes to, for instance, with me, even when it comes to what it is that I've been doing over the past month or so, or the past 2 months, this whole year so far, from January all the way up to now, I've literally been working behind the scenes doing what it is that I got to do. And again, I don't want anybody to take any of the stuff that just because I'm not necessarily talking to you and I may have your number and stuff like this personally, because I am really just over here making these videos. The videos that you see me do, I produce 6 videos a day. And y'all see how long those videos are. I literally, most of those videos that I produce, 4 out of 6 of those videos that I produce that day, I actually did it fresh that day. So a lot of these videos are really fresh that same day. And that requires a lot of dedication and focus. Like I said before, I want to be able to get back to that 10,000 subscriber mark. That's why I'm not stressing it, but I'm putting that mark as a milestone for me, because it's basically me picking up where I left off, because I had lost the YouTube channel with 10,800 subscribers back in 2019. So when you shrink the ego, when you hollowfy the ego, like I said before, it keeps you focused. It keeps you very focused. It keeps you protected. It keeps you in a mode where you're not worried. You're not taking everything so personally. You don't have FOMO. You don't have fear of missing out. You're not interested in all of the diddle daddle of what it is that most people are doing out here. You're really caught up with what it is that you must do yourself, and handling your own responsibilities and your own obligations, right? Your own responsibilities, and actually making it so that you handling your business. You know, but when you out here and you caught up with what other people got going on and what other people's business happens to be, that makes it very difficult for you, because now you're in a particular situation where you can't even detach yourself from the matrix, for a lack of a better term. You can't even detach yourself from a cycle that you're doing, that you're engaging in, that you know yourself is not necessarily the healthiest cycle for you. Another, or I should say, a way to, in particular, to hollowfy the ego, right, is for you to understand, to learn to let go of the trauma that you felt. To not take the things that people do too personally, to see beyond what it is that people are presenting you, and see if they have any kind of ulterior motives. That's one of the gifts that you develop as you're doing it. And while you're doing that, not only are you developing a skill, but you're also developing another skill, which is to not take things so personally. And what that's doing is, on a third level, on a third branch, or a third aspect, is you're actually hollowfying the ego that way. Because when most people have huge egos, they have this sense of self-worth. They have this sense of entitlement. They delude themselves into thinking that they need to play games. They need to tell somebody that they're gonna call them back, and then they don't. They're gonna ghost people. They're gonna do this. They're gonna do that. They're gonna try to get over on somebody. All of that stuff is the idea and the assumption that you're trying to impose on other people. You're trying to project that you think you're better. All of that stuff is an assumption, which is a projection. Those are people who are trying to teach you some sort of lesson, or they think that it's their obligation to be angels, messengers, and all this other type of stuff, to teach y'all some sort of lesson that they've learned or whatever. And you need to learn a lesson. I need to teach you a lesson, and all this other type of stuff on one level. And it's like, come on. You know, when you have hollowfied the ego, when you've learned to forgive people, when you learn to understand what is going on with you, right, emotionally, and you learn to forgive yourself and you forgive the other person and not take things so personally, you really realize that a lot of times people are really like crying on the inside, you know, and you also learn, like I said, to not take things so personally, so you're able to see through not just people, but you see them, yes, but you see through them. You see their intentions. You're able to see them for who and what they are. Like, okay, that's like I said before, that's part of the reason why, even with me, in certain instances, certain people think that they're running kind of game on me or whatnot. And I'm like, I see it for what it is. That's part of the reason why I ask so many questions, because I am interested in getting down to the intent. That's why I'm asking that question in the first place. I am unclear as to what kind of position you are taking. So I'm asking a question for me to gain some more insight to the particular situation. I want to become enlightened. But all of this stuff takes years, honestly. Some people never get it. And and if you really want to be able to do it quickly, it takes a lot of adversity. For those people who are doing it for a lifetime, some people who do it for a lifetime, some people do succeed, but a lot of people don't succeed, and they try to run game on other people. Oh, love and light, because there are some real light magicians out there. Shout outs to those people. Shout outs to y'all. But a lot of people who like to make it seem like they're light magicians are actually frauds, really. Oh, love and light. And then those people be talking trash behind y'all back. Oh, these people trying to use y'all. Oh, well, how many of those self-help gurus y'all see sitting up in Costa Rica? And Costa Rica is a hotbed for criminals. Y'all got to watch out with that Costa Rica stuff. But that's just a little bit of tips on how to hollowfy the ego with what it is that you get. And I did drop some hints, if you're really listening and paying attention, to how to do it very quickly. But like I said, if you need some sort of structure, if you need the ability, if you need some sort of way to to do that, to help you do that without having to be all over the place, then go ahead and get my book, Clipothic Magic for the Brave, okay, which is on Amazon, right? Search my name, Kareem Rema in the search box, or you can search Clipothic Magic for the Brave. And I promise you, if you really take it seriously and your ego is shrinking, okay, you'll succeed and you'll come out on the other side of it with tremendous power, because there's other things that you gain that I can't even talk about. It's going to make me sound loco. But that's it. Peace, y'all.